Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we were just talking earlier this morning on my community newsfeed timeline about empaths. So I thought I would show you guys some books that I got into when I went through my spiritual awakening, and that really helped me when I first started discovering that I was an empath. So these ones really helped me. I suggest if you are an empath or a highly sensitive person that you just read these, because a lot of the information in them can relate to highly sensitive people as well, not just empaths. Okay, so the first one is The Psychic Empath. This one is by Kimberly Moon. This is a really good one. This one helped me learn about myself as an empath, or an empath and a psychic as well. So this is one of the very first ones that I ever read. It says Secrets of Psychics and Empaths, and a guide to developing abilities such as intuition, clairvoyance, telepathy, aura reading, healing, mediumship, and connecting to your spirit guides. Okay, this is a really good one. I highly suggest this one. The second one that I highly suggest is this one. It's Empath and the Highly Sensitive. It says 2 books in one. This one's by Judy Dyer. And this one is really good because it talks a lot about how we're not in control of our gift. Okay, so if you're an empath, it is a gift we were given. You did come here to reincarnate, I guess, as an empath, and it is something that I'm gonna say was in your soul contract for you to figure out as well. There are a lot of empaths right now reincarnated on our earth, but being a psychic empath or a medium empath is a little bit more rare, I'm gonna say. This one's really good because it talks about the emotional roller coaster of being an empath. It talks about how we absorb people's energies and how to protect yourself from not absorbing others' energies, okay? Because this was a huge problem for me, especially, like I said, when I was working as a PSW. It was really hard for me to feel my patients and my clients' emotions and not absorb them, okay? So it's one thing to be empathetic towards people, but we also absorb. So as an empath, you do have to learn how to protect yourself and learn how to not absorb other people's emotions, because what happens is we end up carrying their emotions around with us in our energy field, and we think that they're ours. We think they're our emotions. So that's why it's so important for you to have a spiritual practice as well, like meditation at night. And it's really important for you to continuously clear your chakras, because this is clearing out all of the negative energies that you have absorbed from your, whatever work field, whatever field you're in, or, just your family members. We absorb all of their emotions as well. So that's why it's so important for you to have a spiritual practice and learn how to clear out your chakras and take time yourself. And self-care is really important for empaths as well, you guys. So this is going to teach you a lot about that. It also teaches you more about your gift as an empath as well, and your intuition, etc. This one's also really good. This one is the Empaths Empowerment Journal, and this is by Judith Orloff. She's she's also a doctor, but she's known really well for her empath series. She has a lot of books on empaths. So if you're looking to find books on empaths, I highly suggest you look up Judith Orloff. She's really good. But I really like this one because it really it's a journal. Also, journaling, as a lot of you know, is, some of you may not know, which is why I'm telling you, is super important for empaths, because it gets our feelings, our emotions out of us. Okay, so it's like it's also like a release, just like clearing our chakras and meditation is. But this one's really good because it's good for your self-care and developing your gifts of sensitivity, your intuition, your creativity and compassion. And it's a safe place to be you. It's just, there's so much in it that's going to help you understand yourself, okay? It's got so much. It's not just like a regular journal. It really helped me understand myself as an empath the more I wrote in it, and there's exercises in it, okay? So those 3 books, they're really good, okay? I highly suggest you get these books. I'm going to show you guys again just so you can see. Okay? But anyways, getting into today's topic, I told you guys we were going to discuss dimensions. This is a very long topic to discuss. It goes on forever and ever. So I always write down my, my script for you guys, my script of what I'm going to say, because there's no way in hell, I'm sorry, I'm never going to remember everything that I want to tell you guys just by sitting here and talking. It's just too much to remember. It's too much information, which is why I usually always have like a script or my reading. I write down my readings as well. But the dimensions is it's something that's very hard to grasp, and there's a lot of science that goes behind the dimensions, okay? So we're going to do a one part today, and then I'm going to do another part tomorrow where I get more into the specific dimensions and what they all mean, okay? Because you guys had said that you wanted to know more about this. So I'm going to, when you ask me about a spiritual topic, I will discuss it like forever. Like, I'm sorry, but I will go on and on forever. Like spirituality is my life now. So, and it's just so interesting to me, okay? So we're going to discuss the dimensions. So the two most common dimensions that humans on Earth are familiar with are the waking state and the dream state. So the waking state is experienced in the 3D, and the dream state is experienced in the 4D. So think of the 4D as like sleeping and meditation. That's when you're sort of in the 4D dimension. Okay. So however, there are more than these two dimensions that most humans on Earth are aware of. And there are a different set of laws that govern what generally can and cannot be done by an individual soul or consciousness that is in that dimension, okay? So lower dimensions, okay, are beliefs and stronger feelings about the separation of objects and beings, and higher dimensions have increasingly stronger feelings of oneness with all forms, okay? So lower and higher refer to rates of vibrations, or you also can call these vibrations frequency, that are not considered better or worse, okay, by most beings in the universe. To say that one is better than the other are usually a 3D or 4D being, including us humans on Earth, okay? So it's really important to understand that, there is not, being in a lower dimension does not mean it's better than being in a higher dimension, okay? They're just different. You're not better or worse for being in a lower, for vibrating in the 3D or at 4D or at 5D, okay? So dimensions are also known as realms, and there is a gradual transition from one to the next, okay? And all the dimensions exist at the same time and occupy the same space. That was something that was really hard for me to grasp when I first started learning about dimensions, was that all the dimensions are occurring at once, okay? All of the dimensions are occurring at one time. There is no time separation between any dimension, okay? So they just exist at different vibrations or frequencies of energy. So each dimension offers a different perspective on reality, okay? So our dream reality, which is also known as the 4D, exists parallel to our waking reality, which is the 3D. And we are present in each dimension at all times, okay? So we can also enter 4D reality when we are awake, and we call this either daydreaming, or we also call this, it also can be experienced as a deja vu. So it's really interesting to know that we do throughout the day transition from 3D to 4D back and forth. So that is something that is really happening, has happened on our Earth as for a very, very long time, as we know, because we are in 4D when we are sleeping, we are in 4D when we are meditating, when we are dreaming, and when we are daydreaming. So when you are daydreaming, you are also in 4D. So time and space are separations that are particularly strong in the law of dimensions, but become weaker in the higher dimensions as we go up on the dimensional ladder. Okay, so time and space do occur, lower dimensions, but as we get higher, they start to disappear, okay? Our souls have a presence in all dimensions at all times. Which dimension we are in is a matter of where we focus our attention to. That's why we say meditation is so important, because we are focusing our attention on being in a higher dimension. When we are in a higher dimension, it's easier for us to receive more information from our spirit guides, from the universe, and to clear our own thoughts, and also to separate our emotions from those of others if you are an empath. When you're in meditation, it's easier for you to understand what is your emotion and what is not your emotion, okay? So those that we are not focused on are a large part of our subconscious. Okay, so when we are not focusing on a certain dimension, our subconscious is focused on it, okay? So our subconscious consists of the other dimensions that we are not currently putting our energy into or focusing on. And as humans, our physical bodies can only experience a very small fraction of the full range of dimensions. The 3D is called or known as physical frequencies. We can experience many more dimensions through our energy body, which includes our emotions, intuition, and our aura. Okay, so when I talk about myself astral projecting, this is what sort of happens is I use my intuition, I use my energy field, okay? Some people call it an aura, okay? It's really your bioenergy field. But I use this to expand. I guess I envision myself expanding my energy outward, and then I astral project, okay? So once you're established in one dimension, it's easier to reach lower ones, but it's not as easy to reach the higher ones. So a 4D being would have access to a 3D and lower dimensions easier, but would not be able to evolve to a 5D dimension, okay? So most spiritualists talk about how higher dimensions are better than the lower. However, the more dimensions you have access to, the more work and responsibility your human experience becomes, okay? This is really true because I experienced this when I went through my awakening. You know, when I went through my awakening, I was able to access higher dimensions. And I realized the more dimensions you have access to, the more knowledge you receive, and the more aware you are, I guess to say, of how the universe works and how energy works. So overall, lower dimensions are typically described as dense, heavy, rigid, complex, hidden, and narrowly focused, and usually have a greater sense of individuality and separation. Higher dimensions are described as being light, transparent, flexible, less complex, and have an increasing sense of universal oneness. Many characteristics of the first dimension are similar to those of the highest dimension. And this is because there is a loop. So some say we reincarnate through this loop, returning to the first dimension after we have evolved to the last dimension. When I was discussing how we evolve to different higher dimensions, the more we learn, the more lifetimes we have, the more we reincarnate. I'm not 100% sure personally myself from my spirit guides. I have not heard them talk about this loop. It does make sense. However, I also know that, like I said before, because my guides have told me many, many times, we do not have to reincarnate, okay? But this loop does make sense in regards to going through all of the dimensions, okay? So you can take that information that I've given you and personally figure out yourself what you want to believe in, okay? Or what you feel is true. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is dimensions versus reality, or dimensions versus density. So it's possibly the biggest confusion when people discuss dimensions and density, because people think that because there is a difference between the two of them, but people sometimes refer to them as the same thing. But density emphasizes the specific frequency or the state of consciousness that a being or an object is generating or displaying at any point in time. Dimensions are shared realms where most beings are in the same density in body and mind. A higher density frequency is said to be closer to God or source, and can be able to hold more information, knowledge, awareness, and intelligence in its consciousness, okay? So a lower density or frequency being or reality is said to be closer to creation, Earth, and therefore holds more structure, polarity, diversity, and physical experiences in its consciousness. Some say Jesus was a 5th or 7th density being during his historical time in his 3D earth body, and this may be a common form of reincarnation. So crystal children, who have also been born since the 1980s, are also said to be 7D beings coming to be here to help raise the consciousness of our planet, although very few remember their higher dimension origin, at least not yet anyways. So there's a lot of topics and discussions in the spirituality world in regards to the dimensions, as we know. And if you have heard of crystal children, you know, they are children that, you know, are empaths, or they are highly sensitive, or they can be psychics, or they can be mediums, or they can be both, or they can be all of them, like I am. And they are a lot more common now, like I just said, since the 1980s, because we have come here to raise the consciousness and vibration of the earth as it is right now, for a reason, also known as the golden age or the age of Aquarius, which is what we are now in. But if you want to research those on your own, you can, or I can make videos as well on the age of the Aquarius and the golden age too. But this is very, very true. Okay, so I've talked about the veil of amnesia, how we come here when we reincarnate and we forget everything. We forget, you know, our purpose and our soul contract and everything that we came here to do. So crystal children, we will forget that we came here to raise the vibrations and raise the, I guess, positivity in our planet, which is what we are mostly here for, which is why we're so empathetic and why we absorb other energies, because we transmute their energies into positivity naturally, okay? We do this by our healing, by our work, all right? So there's a lot that goes into this, but a lot of you guys have been saying you think you are empaths and you feel you are an empath. You just didn't know, you didn't have a word to put to it, or you didn't know how else to say it, or you know what you're feeling or what you know. I want to tell you guys that what you know and what you are feeling is very, very true. Okay, this is what you are. You are an empath. You did come here for a reason, and you were meant to wake up and discover what you truly are, okay? So like I said, you're born with the veil of amnesia for a reason, and that's because you had to go through, I'm pretty sure you have been through, if you are an empath, you go through a lot of trauma in your life, and this helps you awaken to yourself as an empath, okay, if that makes sense. So the veil of amnesia was there for a reason. We all have it, okay? But like I said, since the 1980s, empaths and crystal children, as you can call them as well, or psychics and mediums, there is a lot more of us reincarnated on the earth right now than there was previously before 1980, okay? So this is the main point of confusion between densities and dimensions. You can theoretically be in any density or in any dimension. Our consciousness can be in any density in any density or dimension we put our focus on. Our consciousness and mind can be in a higher density than our physical bodies. Some call this transcending, which is when our consciousness transcends to give us a different point of view or experience, but our physical bodies remain at a 3D physical level and object. Bringing our physical bodies to a higher dimension can be done. It is very, very rare. It's very seldom. It hardly happens, but this is called transmutation. If we brought our physical body from a 3D into a 4D or 5D or higher dimension, you wouldn't see that person, okay? They wouldn't be here. So when I talk about how I astral project, okay, my body isn't astral projecting to other places, okay? In my meditation, my soul is astral projecting. So when you hear people say that they are in a 4D or 5D reality, they are talking about or referring to their mental state. Or like I just said, they're talking about astral projection. They did not transmute their physical bodies to a higher density or dimension, okay? So for some people, living in 4D or 5D is a permanent state of consciousness. For them, for these people, we can call them enlightened. Other people seem to fall in and out of these states of consciousness, and we call these people awakened souls, okay? So some people, like I just said, are permanently in either a 4D or 5D reality, so they stay in that level of consciousness, so they pretty much walk around all day long in this dreaming state, okay? Like when we're dreaming or when we're in meditation. And most of us actually go between 3D and 4D throughout the day. All right. So like I just said, we'll go from, living our life to daydreaming. Okay. That's a perfect example of going from 3D to 4D. All right. All right. So with proper education and understanding, anyone can visit other dimensions by changing the state of their astral body, which channeling and lucid dreaming are two ways that this can be done. Okay. So how many dimensions are there? Okay. So some say that there are 12 dimensions, and some say that it goes all the way up to 144. 144 is also a really common and popular number you hear in the spiritual communities. And as a medium with experience channeling spirit, I would say that there is an infinite amount of dimensions. Okay. I'm not going to end it at 144. I'm going to say that I think it just goes on and on and on. And I know this because spirits that I have channeled have said that they are in a dimension that is, it's so hard for the human mind to grasp, is what they pretty much told me. That is how high of dimension they are in, okay? And some mediums have channeled spirit and other beings, okay? Not just people who are reincarnated on Earth or spirits from our Earth realm, from the 1000th dimension. Each dimension is different and discrete, and each dimension can be described as having a lower, middle, and upper region with slightly different characteristics. For example, the upper 3D, which is Earth, is only a little bit different from the lower 4th dimension, which is our dreams. Okay, so each dimension has like I just said, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Okay, so remember, this is a quote that I love from Eckhart Tolle. If you don't know who Eckhart Tolle is, you have to look him up. He's amazing. He's an amazing spiritual teacher. But he says, this is one of the quote that really describes what we're talking about. He says, quote, "Words reduce the reality to something the human mind can grasp, which isn't very much." Quote. All right. So there is so much more to, I guess, existence than we know. Anyone who's been through a spiritual awakening knows this. You know that there is, when you go through a spiritual awakening, it shakes you out of your consciousness, almost like, oh my God, I am not my body. I am a soul living in a physical body. They're two separate things. Okay? And that is what is so amazing, is that even as a medium and a psychic, I don't know even 10% of what there is to know about other universes and other planets and dimensions. And when we are on the other side, like I said, we elevate higher and higher, and we want to elevate higher and higher, because the more we elevate, the more knowledge we know. So the next video, you guys, I'm going to describe each dimension, 1 to 12, the ones that I know of and I am aware of. I know there are so many more, but the ones that we as humans are knowledgeable on. Okay. Anyways, I hope you guys have a fantastic Thursday night, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.